Hey everybody, welcome to ChinFact. In this episode, I'm going to be continuing the preference panel inside of Premiere Pro, and this preference panel specifically, we're going to go under the autosave feature here. So once again, on a Macintosh, that's found under Premiere Pro, Settings, and Autosave. And I'll bring open this preferences panel here with autosave selected. On a PC, you'll go under Edit, and you'll find that preference panel at the bottom here, and you'll move over and select which panel you want it to open. And right now, I'm going to go to Autosave. So let's get started. When you open up the autosave preferences, the default is going to look much like this. It's going to automatically have a save project checkmark, and then it's going to have automatically every 5 minutes it will save your project. But what it's going to do is it's not going to save over your original project file. It'll do a backup file of that. It will have kind of an elongated name that it will use here that you will find under an autosave. It'll have kind of this elongated name that it uses to show the date and the time that it was saved. It has basically the date and the time that it was saved. If I open this folder up right here, and we go by date modified, it'll show anything that I've saved today or in the past. It has the date. And these are actual standalone project files that saved it. It's almost like a time machine saved it at that point in history and made a separate created file. The way Premiere Pro project files work is you save a project file. You go under File, Save As, and you save a project file. I recommend staying very conscientious of where you are saving your project files so you can find them later. But what you can do is go up to this, the name of your project right there, and that will show you exactly where you have saved your project file. If it's automatically saved it in some deep, dark Adobe folder, I would say go up to File, Save As, and save it in a different location where you know you can find it. So now what Premiere Pro is going to do, if you look under the autosave preference panel here, it's going to automatically save that project. It will save it every 5 minutes. So as you're working, every 5 minutes, it'll kind of quickly in the background do an autosave. And down here, what it will do is it will maintain up to 20 copies of these files saved in the past. And as it reaches that number 20, if it saves up to 20 files every 5 minutes, it gets up to 20 files that are saved, it will start deleting those older auto-saved project files. So these files that we see here, right now I've only got 4 of those that it's saved so far, but as I progress through time, this will collect up to 20 of those files, and then it will start deleting the older files as it creates new project files. But I like it to do it more often. I usually do it at 2 minutes. I like to have it saved like every 2 minutes. You can do it 1 minute if you wish. Because sometimes 5 minutes seems like a lot of time to me when I'm really hyper-focused and I've been editing a lot and I get a lot of changes. And if my project crashes or my hard drive crashes, I don't want to miss that much time editing. So I'm going to do 2, and you can, and project files are very, very small, so I usually ramp this up to 100 as well, rather than the 20. These are the default, the 5 and the 20 are the default, but I like to have it save every 2 minutes and have it save up to a maximum project files of 100. So if I really need to go back and find a mistake that I've made, I can find that in my autosave files. I like to have it save a backup to project file to the Creative Cloud. Every time you save the project, we'll show you this and what it's doing. It saves a project to the Creative Cloud. So I'm going to hit OK here. Let's do some changes here on my timeline. I'm just going to basically copy and paste a file here. That is a change on my timeline there. So I'm going to hit Command S. And when I hit Command S, it is actually now saving it to the Creative Cloud. If you go to your computer's Finder window, which if you're on a Mac, on Windows they call it the Explorer window, it'll show all the locations you can visit on your hard drive and the connected networks as well. As you install Creative Cloud, it's going to have as one of the network files here as your Creative Cloud files. This is reading off of an Adobe server right here. This is not on your computer. This is on Adobe's server. It's called their Creative Cloud. That's where it's saving the files up to the cloud. Now I'm going to go to Premiere Pro. And I'm going to go under version 24, which is the latest version I'm working on here. And then I'm going to go under Adobe Premiere Pro Autosave. Well, I'm going to double click on this so I can just look at these files here. And right there, as we're arranging by date, that's my most recent project file right there. It saved a copy of it to the cloud as well as to my computer. So every time you hit Command S, if I do another change here and I hit Command S, it saves this version of my project to the Creative Cloud, and it saves that version of this project on my hard drive, which is found right here. That's the location. It's on my Things hard drive under Dialog Edit, and then the project file is called a Dialog Edit project file, a Premiere Pro project file. Going back under Autosave here, another option here, and I've been using this. I like this. They didn't used to have this, but I prefer this now. Having this check this Autosave, they added this in the 2024 version. Autosave also saves the current projects. I love that. So as I was editing, every time I'd do 2 or 3 changes and I'd edit for like a minute or 2, I would hit Command S or Control S on a PC, and you see that little flash come up that means it just updated my changes to that project file. Because before, if you got into Premiere and you worked for an hour and you never hit Command S and then you hit Command Q to quit, and then it asked you, do you want to save your changes? And you unintentionally said no, you just lost a whole hour's worth of work, and the project file reverts back to what it was 1 hour ago. So it never got changed. You never updated it. You never changed it. And this feature under autosave, where you autosave also saves the current project. It will save every 2 minutes. It will add an additional autosave file till it reaches up to 100, and that starts deleting the earlier projects. But it will also autosave over your current project. So you don't have to think about hitting Command S, Command S, Command S. That's just a preference thing. I like that a lot more. Some people like to keep hitting the Command S. They've got it the muscle memory down. I do too as well, but I like this, so I don't even have to think about it, and I can just edit. And sometimes I'll even go under and say, do that every 1 minute. Save a new autosave file every minute, but also overwrite my original current project file as I make those changes once every minute. And that's great. I really like that. Then every minute you'll see that quick flash pop up, and then you'll know that your project file is saving. I like that little visual. I like that little visual reassurance that when it does autosave, watch this. You're gonna see it here. There, it just autosaved, and it brought up that little progress meter there. I like that on because you see it saving, and you know it just reassures you that your project is saving. Let's show a reason why you might want to use autosave here as well. Let's say you're working on a really big project, and you have a huge timeline that has lots and lots of media, and somehow you had a couple clips selected in the timeline and you didn't know. And let's say you're way down the timeline here where you don't see those selected clips, and you unintentionally hit the delete key and it just deleted those clips, but you didn't see it happen. So now I look and I can see that those clips have been deleted. Worst case scenario, let's say I'm down my timeline and I didn't see those changes happen, and I hit Command Q to quit and ask, do you want to save your changes? I say, yep, save all my changes. I'm good to go. Then you sit down a day later to start editing your project again. I open up that project file, and then I go back to the beginning of my timeline and realize I just cut out 2 clips. I didn't know how I did it. It just happened somehow, and I accidentally had deleted these 2 clips. They're gone, and now I can't undo and go back to retrieve those. So what you can do now, this is my preference when it comes to the autosaves here. I like to import that whole autosave project into my current project. Rather than go to my project folder and find where my autosave files are, here are the projects that it's been saving right there. You can go back in time on your project, on my current project file here, and open up a project file that was earlier on just by double-clicking on it. You can do that, but it opens up 2 separate projects. I like to do it all within my current project. So I hit Command-I or Control-I to import, and I'm going to go to my autosave files, and I'm going to import, let's say this version right there, one of the earlier versions there, so I can restore that edit that I was working on. I'm going to import that project file, not media, just the project file. It'll open this window and say, you want to import the entire project? Yes, I do. And I like to checkmark this. By default, this is not checkmarked. Create a folder for imported items. It'll put everything, if it imports media and everything, it's going to put it all inside of an enclosed folder and won't mess up the organization that I've got currently going. So I'm going to hit OK. It imported that project. There's the name for the autosave project file. It's all named the folder after the project. You open this up, and it already knows the media. It already has the media that it needs within these folders, so it did not have to import the media again. And now I can go and change my timeline and say older, just so I know that distinguish between the 2 timelines. But I'm going to double click on this one, open up the older one, and here are my, at this time code right here, at this time code 1304, I want to go to that same time code and copy it. So I can actually copy the time code if I want to. I don't need to because it's on a smaller timeline, but Command-C to copy or Control-C. Go to this, click in my time code, and hit Command-V to paste and hit return, and it jumps right to that exact spot. And I'm going to select those 2 clips that I got rid of unintentionally. I'm going to Command-C to copy or Control-C on a PC. Go back to my timeline. It's right where it needs to be, that exact time code, and Command-V and paste it. And it restored those clips that I unintentionally lost from my earlier timeline. Now the cool part is you can just select this project file here, and you can just hit delete, and it's gone. Now I hit Command-S, save my progress with those new clips added, and now I can hit Command-Q, quit my project, and it's restored back to its original state. Thank goodness for the autosave files. So those are the autosave preferences inside the Premiere Pro preference panel there. The next one we're going to be going over is going to be the media panel. Thanks for watching TuneFat, and if you have any questions or comments, please post them.